I think it's disingenuous of Patrick to say that no means out and yes means in, when actually the opposite is true. No means we stay in, we are members of the European Union. No means we stay in, we are members of the European Union. No means we stay in, we are members of the European Union.
And I'm joined now by the Secretary of State for Scotland, David Mundell. Welcome to the Sunday Politics.
Good morning.
During the Scottish Referendum campaign 2 years ago, the Better Together campaign repeatedly claimed that the only guaranteed way for Scotland to remain in the EU was to stay in the UK. That turned out to be untrue. You owe the people of Scotland an apology.
That's not the full facts, Andrew. What I agree with Michael is that the Scottish Government should forget about holding another independence referendum.
I understand people you don't want one. The issue here is whether the British government should withhold authorisation.
People in Scotland don't want to be a very divisive event.
We know that the issue is whether your government will withhold authorisation.
Getting the best possible deal for Scotland from leaving the EU. The issue is not about whether there could be another independence referendum.
It is.
Of course,
yes,
there
it is
could
about
be.
that.
That is a process issue. And another independence referendum, that would require the agreement of the UK government and legislation at Westminster.
Should the British government give that agreement?
Sorry, but the argument remains, should there be another independence referendum?
No, I'm sorry.
And that's where the debate needs to be, and I'm absolutely clear that there shouldn't be.
You're completely avoiding the issue here, and it is quite extraordinary.
I don't understand. Sorry, let's take a step back. I don't understand how I'm avoiding the issue.
All right, well, in that case, I'll ask you the question again.
That for there to be another independence referendum, there would have to be agreement between the UK government and the Scottish government.
Should the UK government give that agreement?
We had the Edinburgh Agreement previously, and that is the approach that would have to be followed.
Should the British government give that agreement?
If there were to be another independence referendum. Left in the EU as we leave the EU.
Look, we'll take it on trust. Everyone watching this believes you. You don't want another independence referendum. We'll take that as read. But it's extraordinary that you are avoiding this question. I mean, this week, everyone from Nicola Sturgeon downwards was tweeting about Michael Fallon's remarks, which you won't address. Michael Fallon implied, he said, forget it when it comes to a second referendum. You know perfectly well there cannot be a second referendum unless your government approves it. You have previously on this programme implied that if the Scottish Government wanted to hold one, even though you don't want them to, you should not stand in their way. Will you repeat that should the Scottish Government organise another referendum, the British Government will not stand in its way?
I don't understand how I am not making the position as clear as it absolutely is. There would require to be agreement.
Let's try this a different way.
I think that the focus of the argument
has to
be on whether
I know, you've said that about 50
or should
times.
not be another referendum. Of course, there could be another referendum. People want to see they want to see their two governments working together at this time to get the best possible deal for Scotland and the rest of the UK as we leave the European Union.
I think that sentence you've just uttered will probably get into the Guinness Book of Records. Let's have a final try on this. Let's do some role play. Imagine I'm Nicola Sturgeon and I come to you and I say, look, David, I know you don't want another independence referendum, but we have decided as the Scottish Government we're going to have one. We need the permission of the UK Government to have that. Is your answer yes or no? Is your answer yes or no?
Firstly, it's a matter for the Scottish Parliament to determine. It's not a matter...
She's got that. Well, imagine for the role play she's got all that.
It is not a matter for the Scottish Government. If there is to be another referendum, it would proceed on the basis, as I've set out repeatedly during the course of this interview and previously, on an equivalent of the Edinburgh Agreement. And that means the two governments reaching agreement. But there's not a proposal on the table, and therefore the debate shouldn't be about the process issue, which is what the SNP loved.
Right. We've run out of time.
I wanted to ask you one across the United Kingdom to secure Scotland's best
I wanted to
interests.
ask you one please be brief on this because we have run out of time. The Scottish Government's proposal is to stay in the single market by Scotland becoming a member of the European Free Trade Agreement while remaining part of the United Kingdom. That's what's in their paper. Just yes or no, is there any possibility whatsoever of that happening?
It's not impossible, but I believe that it is better to proceed on the Scotland needs or would benefit from a differentiated agreement. But my mind is open, and we've intensified discussions to look at that.